in today's episode, we're gonna mix those two styles of communication. As you all see, when anyone else wins the Grammys, there is no question about who was on the board, who got to vote, how did this happen. And I think people often forget the journey of Beyoncé, the destiny child of Beyoncé, the little girl dancing in the malls in Texas, Beyoncé. So yes, the Grammys was amazing. Cowboy Carter, Kendrick Lamar. And one thing we can never debate when we talk hip hop is that lyricists will always, but when Ether came out, baby, I sat back and I was like, Jay, I'm gonna need you to tap out. Hey brother, yeah, little sister here. Next on our social and political shifts, global events that may be impacting us over the last few months. Whew, listen, because we just got another 365 in 2025, and all we know is that we have today, and tomorrow is not promised. So what you gonna do to make talk about another segment that is very heavy in the news? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Where do we stand, people? Fashion and entertainment. Personal style will continue to evolve in 2025. My recommendation to you is to welcome to this new season, fresh energy, new conversation, and exciting plans for 2025. I hope you've enjoyed the conversations thus far, not diving into not who I am, but what this platform is all about. And why are we sticking a pin today, pausing to reflect in shifts that are happening? So why are we sticking a pin? To take a pause right now, because we have brought to you so much new information. The world itself is in a doozy. January was a long month, and I feel like February has it a little bit beat. But with all of the excitement and things that happened just over the course of the first few months of the year, I felt like it was a good time to stick up in our discussions thus far. I hope you enjoyed the interviews, my interviewing style, as you can see, evolving over time. Because in those interviews, as you can see, I spoke a little bit more to continue to let the audience know who I am, what I'm about, what is the point of this podcast. It is to amplify people with amazing journeys, to help us realize we can save ourselves. The North Star that we're often looking for in entertainment and social media, just out there in the world, truly exists within ourselves. So this platform is to help highlight the heroes, the inspirations that walk amongst us every single day, highlighting their journey, while we all come together to talk about how we've changed, how we've evolved over the course of time. Sometimes just simplifying it down to one word, but we're so complex as individuals. So in this episode, we're gonna stick a pin. And if you haven't realized by now, I often interchange the way I communicate. That's truly how I communicate in real life. Obviously, in the corporate space, I ensure that my communication is clear and articulate as possible. But when I am amongst friends, because we are friends, I intertwine my patois because I am a Jamaican girl. I'm an island girl at heart. And truly, I feel like I express myself the best and the most while me and chat my chat. So in today's episode, we're gonna mix those two styles of communication, as you all see in the majority of my episode. But in this episode, we really are gonna stick a pin. And what does stick a pin mean? Stick a pin means we're just like a pause. We are gonna see what we just talked about. What go on in another world. So often throughout the season, I'll be here just solo, sticking a pin in a discussion to see what go on in another world. How did you feel about the conversations? Any thoughts on the new set? Looking forward to hearing from you. And I noticed a lot of you are listening to the podcast, reoccurring listeners. Thank you so much for the support, but subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, subscribe on your preferred podcast platform. Feel free to leave me a review. I'd love to hear what you think about the show thus far, the guests that we've had, and the guests that we have to come. We are continuing to evolve. This platform has only just begun, well, a few years ago, but we are continuing to evolve this season, fresh perspectives and new ways to engage. One of those new ways was our segment Shape Sharp, where I interviewed my daughter, So I invite other parents that would like to share not only your relationship, the insights you've grown and learned from your child here on this podcast. And then, of course, we're talking today's episode, Stick Up in the Night. Let's discuss. Let's do some personal reflection. New season, new vibe. How do I feel? I feel refreshed. I love that the things that I've dreamed of are slowly coming to fruition and you guys are able to enjoy it. So as 2025 continues to shift, how I'm setting my intentions is just to show up as my true and authentic self as much as possible in every space I enter. And in order to do that, I just lead with intentionality and give myself a break from time to time, because often as dreamers and visionaries, the timeline of when that will happen is not up to me. I've abandoned the expectation of when it will happen, who I partner with, and all of those things. I just continue to put one foot in front of the other and enjoy every step as I continue to grow in this space. And also all the lessons that come. My reflection for 2025 is to show up as authentically as I can in every space that I exist, because every space is not ours. Ooh, state of the world. Let's get into January. January was a long month. Yes. Woo. January 2025 in itself felt like a year. Let's unpack headlines and culture moments that shaped the first month of the year. I feel like January brought us the Grammys. Let's first dive into the Grammys and the looks, the awards. Come on, Cowboy Carter. Beyoncé took home not only one, but many awards for Cowboy Carter. And after the snub at the CMAs, baby, we always like bucking, like a mechanical bull. We were loving it. And you could truly see on her face that Beyoncé was surprised. Because there is so much to say about these institutions and them recognizing the art that these artists put out. And I think it's important for us to unpack what that means and how we see it as the community, as the consumer, as the one enjoying the art, right? I don't want to give you a history lesson or an institutional lesson, but essentially the Grammys are made up of board members, and those board members are able to vote for the Grammys. And I don't want to get too much into the voting and how they won or any of that when it comes to the Grammys, because if we're honest, that conversation or that question of who has validated this, who ensured that this person won, only comes up when one of us wins. And I think we need to start to be more of the solution, less of the problem. When anyone else wins the Grammys, there is no question about who was on the board, who got to vote, how did this happen. When we are snubbed year after year for songs that rang in our house and just felt so deep in our soul and in our culture that are not even recognized in this institution, that question is not asked. So let's not ask the question when a well-rounded entertainer, because love Beyoncé or not, and trust and believe, the Beehive live here. Love Beyoncé or not, she is an artist that has worked her ass off to achieve the things that she has today. And I think people often forget the journey of Beyoncé, the destiny child of Beyoncé, the little girl dancing in the malls in Texas, Beyoncé. It's easy to look at someone now at the pinnacle of their career, not even at the peak, just at their current status, to say, oh, she's overrated. Oh, everyone just loves Beyoncé. A lot of us love Beyoncé because we've been on the ride. A lot of us love Beyoncé because we was like, come on now, what happened with Latavia? Nah, not Toya. That's our good girl. What happened? A lot of us love Beyoncé because we sat at home and watched them on MTV Cribs and saw the friendship and the camaraderie between her and Kelly when they were just teenagers. A lot of us love Beyoncé not just because of the song she creates today, but the journey that she has been on and the songs that she's always created. Oh, Dangerously in Love. I am in love with you. You set me free. When that song came out, you couldn't tell me. I was like, now Beyoncé, you know I'm a little mad at you. Not you coming out with Dangerously in Love. And it was in my walk over and over and over and over and over and over. I loved that song. That album really, to me, solidified the fact that I am here. I'm here to stay. I'm going to continue to nurture my craft. I'm going to be a force in this space, like it or not, love me or not, group over or not, group small, group big or not. And so much about that I love about Beyonce. Like me or not, I'm still her. Like me or not, I'm gonna do that work. And that's the part where, again, if you're not a Beyonce fan, that is fine. But what you cannot argue is the facts of the matter. And Beyonce works her ass off for not only her status, but for her performances. To be clear, we know there are a lot of icons in the music space. There are a lot of icons in the arts that you book them for a show, they'll give you a little one-two, a little Look, the stock of Beyonce, because what people don't realize is Beyonce is a business. Well, I think we all now realize that. But the stock that is Beyonce never come half-stepping. She opened up a damn hotel and rocked it out like it was a concert. So I think above all, respect the work ethic. So yes, the Grammys was amazing. Cowboy Carter, Kendrick Lamar. And Kendrick Lamar really sweeping the Grammys with They Not Like Us says so much that I think everybody has dissected it at this point on the internet. But for me, I love the melody of the song. I love the lyrics of the song. And like I said, I was born in the 80s. So lyricist to me is what brought me into hip hop. I'm a country girl. I like my conscious reggae, I like my dancehall music, I like my Beres Aman, I like my Bob Marley. And them songs, that's what I was so accustomed to, is the Bob Marleys of the world, you know? The Peter Tosh of the world, you know, them way there. The Tanya Stevens of the world. That's who I listened to till I came to Brooklyn. And then came across, it's a knock light for us. It's the lyricist of hip hop that drew me into this genre. And one thing we can never debate when we talk hip hop is that lyricists will always rise us above. They're like that fancy foam at the top of the coffee. They will always sit above all of the rest of music. And we gotta just call a spade, okay? The ones who can really spit a nasty 16 bars over a melody, baby. They will always be them. They will always be awarded not only by the people, by the institutions, because lyricists are intelligent minds. Like, have you ever just sat down and listened to a hip hop song? Even if you can, strip out the melody, Nas will have you going, why are you not a professor at IT? Method Man will have you go, oh, so you should have been in corporate. Got it. Because the wordplay, the wordsmith of a true lyricist, second to none. Chef's kiss. So Kendrick, listen, I'm an East Coast girl. So I was Jay-Z all day, every day, even Nas, even when Ether came out. So to me, Not Like This brought back this sense of Ether. When Ether came out and they was going back and forth, listen. I think everybody in New York was sitting up tall. Everyone was at their dinner table like, damn, they splitting us up. But what Kendrick did with Not Like Us has taken, it's like passing a baton from Ether. Because as someone who, I like Nas, I rocks with Nas. I'll always be loyal to Jay because his music just has really ushered me through harsh seasons in my life. So it will always be Jay. And just the connection that I know Jay has to communities in Brooklyn, some of those communities and friends that I know were personally impacted by his philanthropy and things like that in Brooklyn that, again, Jay all day. But when Ether came out, baby, I sat back and I was like, Jay, I'm gonna need you to tap out. Hey, brother. Yeah, little sister here. Let's follow me down the block, because he got this one. He took it home. When Ether came out, I was like, come on in, Jay. Come on in from outside. You know? You ever had your little sister trying to look out for you when, you know, your mama looking for them to beat them or something? Your sister's like, come on in. Or somebody that look for you in the neighborhood. And, you know, I saw things are going on and you'll be like, hey, little Peter, come on inside. That was me when Ether came out. So I feel like not like this. You just didn't want to call him in the house. You wanted him outside so that he see, you know, I want you to see the reaction from your behaviors. Because it's not like I'm not a Drake fan. I think Drake has great music. But I do think there are a lot of unanswered questions about Drake. I think there are a lot of unaddressed scenarios with Drake that I don't think is justified. And who am I? That's just my 2 cents. But the Grammys were amazing. And I'm glad that we swept the Grammys and came and did what we came to do. And you know, I cannot rap the segment about the Grammys without Doechii. Put the money in my... I wear good... Doechii. I told you guys last year how much I went up for Doechii when I found Doechii. And the fact that I could sit here and say Doechii won a Grammy, it just warms my heart. I feel good for, I don't know why, Doechii gives me little cousin vibes. Doechii give me the cousin you see only when you gotta like travel. You don't even see them on Thanksgiving that much because they live too far. So you see them like once every year, but every time you see them, it's like, girl, what's happening? That's the vibes I get from Doechii. I get the vibe from Doechii. We will be in a room like just dancing and talking shit about what happened over the last few months. Like, I am so ecstatic for Doechii. I'm so ecstatic for where her journey thus far and her journey to come, because I feel like Doechii got her foot on the next, and I'm begging you, please don't take it off. Keep doing your thing, little sis. Keep doing your thing. That is everything on the music front. I could talk about everything that happened at the Grammys, but again, why? Some people have gone at length to highlight the outfits, the music, the snubs, the different things, but I just, as you know, I'm light in love. I'm all sun, so I'm gonna take it for what it's worth and keep it pushing. Next on our social and political shifts, global events that may be impacting us over the last few months. Whew. Listen, not planes colliding, not planes falling out the sky. Lord, y'all come for your world. I want one. The global events and the wars that are happening, we can dive deep into it, but it's a choice. My personal take is we pace ourselves through these fast-moving worlds and be sure to hold tight to the things that make you happy, the things that make you sad, but always stay informed. The emotional roller coaster that it has been starting the new year in this way is unsettling. But I'm reminding you to stay grounded, to keep your eye on the prize, because we just got another 365 in 2025, and all we know is that we have today, and tomorrow is not promised. So what you gonna do to make it be happy today? So let's talk about another segment that is very heavy in the news. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Where do we stand, people? I am personally hate acronyms. I think acronyms are served to help us understand larger concepts. Acronyms were essentially created to help us understand broader concepts, multiple letters to mean a larger concept, a larger overall mission and vision and concept. That's why an acronym was created. When I entered in the corporate space, marketing communications, I realized very quickly that acronyms can mean many things to many different people. And it got worse when I entered technology. One acronym could mean one concept. The exact same 3 letters can mean a totally different concept. So when I hear and I consider diversity, equity, and inclusion, the term DEI irritates the shit out of me. Because first of all, it's not DEI. It's D-E and I. The E and the I are not together. Like, I don't know why. It's just the little things that I think the need to oversimplify truly diminishes and extracts the substance of what the discussion is. And we do that not only with political issues and social issues, but we do that in our own community. Our innate desire to oversimplify sometimes often diminishes or even removes the significance of the message. And while I am a person that advocates for simplification to ensure that everyone is able to be a part of the discussion, we also need to acknowledge that simplification also diminishes the value of a substance or a thing. And when we talk diversity, equity, and inclusion in the matter of DEI, we are absolutely doing that. We are diminishing the importance of a concept for simplification. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is still a priority. And companies can want to backpedal and have this outwardly effects in conversations about diversity, equity, inclusion, because right now it's a buzzword. It is a buzzword and it has been used as an acronym. But I don't necessarily think anyone knows what diversity, equity, and inclusion is. And I encourage everyone that are having these discussions in the spaces in your life, by the water cooler, or even at home, understand that diversity, equity, inclusion does not mean Black women. It is comical at best that you think diversity, equity, inclusion equals Black people. It does not. The word diversity in itself means a diverse background, and this all has to do with the market share. So follow me a little bit here as I go through this little demonstration. And hopefully this demonstration will help you understand what diversity, equity, inclusion is, help you understand my perspective on it, and we can wrap it up, right? Think of a boardroom. In this boardroom, we have 5 people. All 5 people are yellow. Let's call them yellow. So every single time these 5 people came together and made decisions about the business, the market share for the business would be this. And over time, they realized that, let's just say company A and company B kept maintaining the same market share in that market. But company C entered the market. And company C didn't just have yellow and blue people running the company. They had a little bit of yellow, they had a little bit of blue. And that third company, company C, started to gain larger share in that market. So company A realized, there might be something to adding a little bit more color in this boardroom. So company A said, I'm gonna take one of those blue guys and bring them over here. And then they started seeing a change in their direction, in their strategies, and how they've marketed or even grown their offering to that market. Over time, these people started to realize that I am being asked to come into these spaces and provide valuable insight that is expanding their share in the market, which ultimately means increasing the value of this company. And while many of those individuals are paid well, hopefully some of them, and some of them are given the credit for their ideas and their strategies and the things that they bring to the table, they didn't have any equity. So while the company's value continued to increase And while their, let's just say, salary increased a bit, they had no ownership over their contributions to that company. But the company owned all of their insides and essentially continued to profit off of their intelligence. And here comes inclusion. Inclusion said, well, if we're going to make it diverse and we're going to give them equity for it, we might as well make it an inclusive environment for everyone to allow the yellows, the blues, and the oranges to exist amongst not only this market, but all of the markets to see how it will elevate everyone's share. Hopefully you followed my little demonstration and I've helped you understand in a simple way what diversity, equity, inclusion is.
While editing, I realized while my intentions were to give a general overview of what diversity, equity, and inclusion mean by displaying an example, I may have still oversimplified the initiative. I'd like to outline the fact of what diversity, equity, inclusion is. I was tempted to drive to the library and read from an encyclopedia. But then I thought it would be best that I refer to a source that the listeners themselves could research and refer to. So here is a definition of what diversity, equity, and inclusion means from an article written in Harvard Business Review back in 2023. Diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives are essential to fostering a positive work culture. Through exposure to diverse perspectives, you can improve employee morale, promote business and ethics, and drive creative problem solving and innovation. According to the online course, Leadership Ethics and Corporate Accountability, diversity is the presence and participation of individuals with varying backgrounds and perspectives, including those who have been traditionally underrepresented. Equity, equal access to opportunities, and fair, just, impartial treatment. Inclusion, a sense of belonging in an environment where all feel welcomed, accepted, and respected. To better understand diversity, equity, and inclusion, here is a breakdown of its components and benefits. Diversity. Your organization can achieve workplace diversity by employing people from various backgrounds based on their gender, race, age, and sexual orientation. Doing so can produce several benefits for your company's bottom line. For example, research shows that business with diverse team experience more than twice as much cash flow per employee. Equity in the workplace requires treating all employees fairly and justly, regardless of their background, ensuring equal opportunity for growth and development and success. While diversity provides financial benefits, equity ensures all employees feel valued. Inclusion. Inclusion extends beyond diversity and refers to employees' workplace experience. It involves creating an environment where all employees feel valued, respected, and fully integrated into your organization's culture and operations.
Key wins and setbacks on the fight for equity and representation is Ursula Burns, Xerox's first Black woman CEO. Ursula's story is amazing, and if you've never heard of Ursula, I encourage you to go do some research. But there are not only Black women, Black men, Latinx, white women who have had the opportunity to display their value and their intelligence in different corporate spaces and companies and part of the conversation because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So rolling it back sounds fun. It sounds cute. But let's not ever be coy. Money will be money, and the money is where the culture is, and the culture is where we are. Next, fashion and entertainment. There is not an industry that has not seen people of diverse background, and diverse background does not mean Black people. Diverse background means people that were raised and come from a diverse, that is what the word means, a diverse upbringing. And that level of diversity brings a different aspect when we are trying to solve for a problem, when we're trying to create strategies on how to expand business and grow market share, go public, provide value to your stakeholders. This is not rocket science, people. We've done it for many, many years. It will continue to happen. So yes, let's say we're rolling back DE&I because fear-mongering is a real thing. And let's all go and move on. So let's talk about what music is setting the vibe for the year. I feel like Afrobeats is going to have another swing this year. Tim's won a Grammy, and she's going to come back heavier and better than ever. Another trend for this year with fashion, I think we're all calling it monochromatic, but ultimately is going back to the matchy-matchy. Remember back in the days, you'd match your hat with your shoes and your shoes with your hat, and you gotta coordinate. As Luda would say, we're going right back there. I think fashion, like many other industries, goes in cycles. So low-rise jeans, all of those things, I think it's just all making cycles. And for me, fashion is what makes you feel most confident. It's what makes you feel comfortable. It's what highlights your favorite part of your body. So I don't necessarily look for the trends, but some of them are pretty cool. And some of them, they're just nice to look at it on Instagram. So give it a like and keep it pushing. Bold looks of self-expression and the move towards authenticity, I think, is the beauty mark of 2025. The girls have been rocking the natural hair for a minute. A lot of us never stopped. But what I do think will be a beauty trend of 2025 is the reduction of excess. I think when it came to beauty treatments over the course of the last few years, it was like, check the link in my bio, buy this at Sephora, get this here. I think we became over consumers of products post-COVID, where we don't have not one serum, we got 3 serums, and this serum does the thing that the other serum doesn't do, and it's a night serum and it's a daytime serum, but it became a matter of excess, just excessive products for every little thing. I think in 2025, we're going to move closer and closer to a place of authenticity where we find those key pieces for our makeup bag like everyone has. Listen, I got a daytime and a nighttime serum. They do 2 different things, but I don't need a midday serum. I don't need 4 different foundations. I don't need 3 highlighters and a concealer. Like, we don't need all of that, but according to me, my 2 cents, but that is my 2 cents of the matter. And I think in 2025, when we think about beauty and what will come, I think we are moving closer and closer to a place of authenticity and a more natural state of being. When we think of beauty standards here in America, I see that happening naturally. Everybody's back with the silk press and the doobie. And if you're new here and you don't know what a doobie is, it's when you take your silk press and you grab it. You need a visual. I'll get you a visual. But I see that now, and we've moved away. We're moving away from wigs, and we're going back to sew-ins and going back to more natural styles. I just think the beauty standards of 2025 will be more aligned with authenticity, and people will find their individual styles. You know, I think we 2-piece set the shit out of 2024, which, listen, I love me a good 2-piece set. 2-piece sets are made for lazy days and weekends, okay? Well, not the whole weekend, because you got to go out and not 2-piece set it. But I think, in a sense, as a culture, we have always had this uniformed way of fashion. And I see a lot of that coming back. But I think when it comes to 2025, we're going to see a lot more personal style and authenticity. So I expect a lot of creativity this year. But for myself, I've always, I feel like, had the same style since high school. Very neat, very clean, very simple. It's what I like. I just like to feel neat. I like to feel clean and simple. And I think people stray away from the word simple because it's like, I don't want to be simple. I like clean lines. I like sharp edges. I will wear a statement piece, and that is the outfit. Like, everything rocks from that statement piece. I know what fits my body. I know what looks good on my body. I am not like, and I know the parts of my body that I'm like, ooh, I got this cute face, but they gave me these grandma arms. I think more and more for me, I've just leaned more into my personal style. I like what I like and I don't like what I don't like. There are labels and designers that I think have great quality products. And there are others that slap their name on garbage. No thanks. Not for my good dollars. So I think personal style will continue to evolve in 2025. My recommendation to you is to lean more into that. What do you like? When you think about, I'm just going to put on a piece that makes me feel at ease to go grab drinks with a friend or go to dinner with my husband or just take my daughters out on a date, you gravitate towards. And if that's jeans, girl, grab them jeans. If it's leggings and some boots, grab the leggings and the boots. And if you a fancy girl and it's a little twill skirt, girl, grab the twill skirt and do your thing. I think 2025, we will lean more into fashion and beauty styles that align with us as people and individuals versus as trends. So what is your fashion and beauty mode for 2025? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for this episode of Stick Up In and Let's Talk. Oh, no, before we go, we have to talk about the Super Bowl. Oh my gosh. Kendrick Lamar has outdone himself with the Super Bowl performance. That Super Bowl performance was so theatrically genius. There are so many different videos and talking heads talking about all the symbolism in his performance, but I would be remiss if I do not speak about the artistry that was at that performance. I think when we think about the Super Bowl, we think about entertainment. We think about the fireballs going off, the lights, the dancers. That's what we look forward to as an audience. We want to be entertained. Are you not entertained? And Samuel L. Jackson, Serena Williams, Kendrick Lamar, and the amount of symbolism and representation that showed up at that Super Bowl halftime show. Baby. Clap, clap, clap. Clap, clap, clap. Claps all around. And I love that there are areas in our community that were like, oh, it should be this person and not that person, and one album and one record doesn't. And like he said, it was so much bigger than the music. The people were informed, the people were entertained, and above all, he let it be known, I'm not the big three, I'm here. I think he did an amazing job on the Super Bowl performance. So on this episode of Stick a Pin, we talk Grammys, we talk Super Bowl, we talk diversity, equity, and inclusion, we talk trends, we talk tragedies of January and February. But we continue to stay together in this journey called life together. Thank you for joining this episode of Stick a Pin. And Liquid Talk, we just pause to reflect on what has happened in the world, what we are seeing out in these spaces, and how we are reflecting and moving forward. Let me know in the comments, when last you stick a pin, not only in this season of your life, but in general. Do you often pause and say, but wait, did I enjoy that vacation? Do I enjoy the spaces and people and places that I exist? We often don't know. Thank you so much for watching this episode of How Do You Divine? Stick Up In, Part 1, Season 3. See you on the next one. I'm Sanika Nikki. Bye.